So the lady says we are recording in progress. That makes life much more easier when somebody gives you a notification of what's coming forth. So tell me, Niti, of course we know a lot about you through Shark Tank, and then we of course saw the Amul ad featuring you across the hoardings. But besides that, what do you think should be a notification? What's coming next from Niti, from Twee-in-one?
Oh, a lot of things. I mean, Shark Tank has just given us so many different things to think about, to work around. I think people know us, like a lot of new people suddenly know us. So, it's quite exciting because it's not just feedbacks that you get from people, but you also get suggestions. I mean, I just got this one brilliant suggestion today where someone just called out to me saying, you know what, can you just do something with sizing going up and down? And I was like, okay, that's interesting, that's a good thought. So there are a lot of people who leave me with a lot of different thoughts that pushes me to work ahead. There are a lot of men who've been asking me that, listen, why not men? You're catering to women and kids, so how about men? So we are kind of working on that. But for men, yes, hygiene is definitely a little concern. So we are trying to find a way out of how we can solve that.
Okay, so when you picked up this point about hygiene, even Shark Tank, they basically mentioned this, and it is just the right thing to ask as well. So at celebration, many of these brides, uh, they're sweating. I mean, that's the only day when they're sweating and they're gloriously sweating. It's not,
Yeah.
it's for the right reasons, of course. But when you speak about everybody else also, everyone else in the shadi, in the barat, and everybody else who's around for your celebrations, if we are looking at that as a solution, when Twee-in-one is a solution, of course, we just mentioned giving the space in the case. So, how do you suggest the hygiene is maintained? When you're having this cloth, I just love the fact that the ghagra was so beautifully done around Vinita, am I right? So was it was Vinita who draped it,
Yes.
who you draped up. It was an amazing ghagra and two in piece, and the colors were absolutely contrast, so I the look and the feel, and of course immediately there was this glow on her face. But how do we maintain this thing when it comes to, and all three or four of the sharks mentioned the same thing. So do you have any suggestions on how to maintain your clothes?
So, like you rightly said, that hygiene when it comes to Indian wear is a little problem, and that's exactly why what we try doing is we don't give reversible options in Indian wear. Whatever
Okay.
little bit of Indian wear that we do, or a little contemporary Indian wear is how I would put it up. We actually play around with a lot of conversions. So
Okay.
conversions usually, keep so basically the lining that's touching your skin is
Mhm.
still there. It's
Yes.
not that, the main fabric is touching your skin in any manner. So even if you're sweating, it's just the lining that's still touching your skin. So the hygiene gets maintained very easily. And of course, we do make it a point that we are not giving reversible blouses at all,
Okay.
because we do understand that blouses are meant to be very body hugging. So we have to maintain the fit, we have to maintain the hygiene with the sweatiness, and like it doesn't feel very fresh or doesn't even look very fresh. So in that case, of course, we are trying to make sure that they have enough variety in their lehengas. But for the blouses, you can carry two blouses. I'm sure, like they're tiny enough; they
Yeah,
don't take enough space. So
I
it's
agree with
it's
you.
it's solving a problem well at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So now, of course, when you speak of hygiene, that is one, of course, the concern when something is body hugging, and of course we can maintain that. But Niti, how do you feel about the price factors which was also brought in by the Shark Tank? Uh, one of the most important quote that came was, are you still priced? I think it was Aman who mentioned the price is still Italy based. How did that happen? So how do you
So,
how do you manage that?
I am so happy you asked me this question, because the thing is that the dress that I was wearing on Shark Tank was actually for 15,000.
Okay.
Reason being because that's a completely hand embroidered dress. And I was going on national TV for the first time myself. I was excited. I wanted to wear something beautiful. So, I didn't really bother much about looking at, like, oh, what is my dress priced at? I just wanted to look perfect. And that's why I was there. But I think Shark Tank with, they also failed to mention that my starting price is actually 3,000 for women's wear and 1,300 for kids wear. And today, if we understand, then 3,000 for a reversible top is not very expensive. Looking at the fact that your each look is still costing you 1,500 rupees.
Right, right.
For our main target audience is, fast fashion victims. So
I get that.
for, yeah, so for them it's not the price. For them, the only thing that they care about is that, we just have to go shopping. They just don't give a damn about the rest.
Right. And brands sell that way because of the quality that they have. The brands basically sell that way, and your brand itself has a very unique selling proposition. So
Yes.
I'm glad you have taken that into consideration. Plus, I also saw that on the website. So I mean, right after Shark Tank was over, these are the two things that I was looking at. But again, coming back to the dress that you were wearing, the one which is 15,000, it's worth it because it was publicized even on Amul, not just Shark Tank. There-
Yes,
There's
yes,
another glimpse I had of a dress. I believe Ashni Grover's wife, who when she was wearing a dress which was
yes,
similar to what I mean, what I think maybe she's basically dressing up the same thing in Kapil Sharma Show. But I
yes.
happened to see the same dress glimpse even in Shark Tank. Did you bring that dress along? The same black and white
Yes.
thing?
Yes. So basically, I just didn't want to show my product to the sharks on, Shark Tank, but I also wanted them to have it so that women and kids in their house could also get, an experience of it. Because that is also equally important. I mean, I'm just at a shoot, I just show it to them and I take it back. They've probably given their opinion then, but then you never know what they really felt about it. Or probably, once they take it home, their wives wear it, their kids wear it, you don't know how do they respond to it. And that is also very important to me on the longer run. What if probably a year down the line I happen to meet any one of the sharks again? Like how Ghazal said that, like once you figure out certain things, just come back to me.
Yes.
What if I go back to her? I would want her to tell me that, she had a garment. What did she feel about it? Did she ever wear it? Did she ever try it? So I had actually gifted all the sharks a piece of garment for their wives and kids.
Mhm.
And yes, and we also gifted one to Ashneet. And we did bring that on the show to show it to them that, what, these are the different garments. And the same garments were later gifted to them, individually, saying this one would fit your wife, this one, like in their proper gift boxes. And yeah, that's exactly why you saw it on the episode, and that's exactly why later we saw Madhuri wearing it. But it was very delightful, I mean, honestly, because Madhuri is a fashion designer herself.
Lovely.
And
So was that a
I
reversible dress, the black and white dress, which Madhuri
yes,
Ashni Grover was okay? Okay.
yes, that was a reversible dress where the first look is a printed look, and the
Mm-hmm.
second look is actually a very formal black dress, like a little black dress.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the two different sides. And I was happy because I was like, listen, something needs to go right, otherwise someone would not want to wear your dress on a national TV. So something really has to go right with the piece. The fit was beautiful, probably she was very comfortable wearing it, and she must have liked the design, otherwise, that acceptance was very big.
Niti, I must, first and foremost, I not only admire but absolutely appreciate this business sense of allowing people to experience. We know that in traditional places we have something like a trial room. I'm sure you would have that in your studios too. The fact that there is something that is a giveaway, experience it. Even if you're not going to buy it today, you're going to get sold later on with the idea, with the
Correct,
concept. So
correct.
some things work in the pitches, some things work beyond the pitches. And
Yes,
I'm so glad that you left that behind, and then that it also had a story to tell thereafter as well. So absolutely appreciate that. Many times people just get cut off with the kind of remarks that they receive, but you stood there smiling even when Ashneer Grover was really blunt with whatever his viewpoint was. Not that I can never, I'm not the first person or rather the last person to judge whether it was something rude like other people do say it, but
yeah.
he always has some valid point to offer. You stood there smiling, and you stood there not only smiling, but then there was this back end story like we all already know. We just spoke about it. Tell me, what does it take to be resistant, Tell me, what does it take to believe so much in your product, so much in your concept, that you were right there without any hassles? I want to tell you something after your experience, because there is something that I took away from Shark Tank Global as well. So please
Yeah.
first go ahead and share your experience at that moment in time.
So, the firstly, I very strongly believe that every individual has all the rights to have an opinion about, you. Otherwise, we wouldn't have probably, Zomato, Uber, they wouldn't have star rating. Google wouldn't give you reviews. Other places and testimonials wouldn't give you reviews, and, it wouldn't matter to anyone. So every individual has, like, it's okay to have an opinion. Today, what I like, you might not like, and what you like, I might not like. It's a very individual choice, and I absolutely respect that. And even with Ashneer, the same thing had happened, that it was probably his opinion that he did not like what I was doing. And I absolutely respect him because he is an expert in his field. I mean, he comes with some credits, obviously. So I was like, okay, fair enough, works. And coming to the bluntness, I mean, that is something which is not in anybody's control. That's probably how he likes to put it. Like, he always says that, I like to be straightforward, I don't like to sugarcoat things. So that's okay, that's not in our control. I mean, it's just how it is. But what kept me standing there smiling was because Ashneer was not the first person who told me that, this is like a rubbish idea, or it cannot be 100 CR business. Because there have been quite a few other industry mentors who initially, like when I was just starting off, who also told me that you really need to be crazy to do something like this. There is no other brand globally who's doing only reversible and convertible clothing. It's a very small and slow money making business. But then the reason why I am so confident about is because I mean, Rishika, we are all women. We all complain about not having clothes, not being able to travel light, not having space to keep them. It's a daily struggle for all of us. Social media spoiled it for us. Once we post an image, we don't want to repeat that garment again.
I agree
And
with you.
all of this is just helping us destroy the world even more, because we just have so many landfills of unworn clothes. We have no solution to that. We every day hear people saying that there are billions of clothes lying on different beaches of the planet. What do you do? So for me, it was not just to make a brand and be any other designer, but I was like, okay, let's find a way to make women happy. And at the same time, let's also find a way where we can find a sustainable way. But we just kind of redefine sustainability with saying and believing in less is more. That today, if I can break the cycle of fast fashion and I can tell women to slow down, and I can convince them that, listen, you don't have to go shopping every week, it's okay. But
Right.
he is still offering you different looks. Probably down the line, not now, probably 15 years down the line, we might just be able to save another beach from becoming a landfill.
So when you speak of something like this, when you say fast fashion, today in terms of numbers, I'm sure you've done the study. In terms of numbers, how many consumers are you looking at in a year?
So I don't really have a fixed number that I would want to, like, I
Range?
would
Yeah.
be able to spot for a year.
Hmm.
Because for Twee, our long term vision is that every woman on the planet can just own one Twee garment. We
Hmm.
don't demand for a lot,
That's what I
just
was
one
getting at.
Twee
I'm glad
garment.
you said that. Yes, I'm glad you said that. So
Yeah,
just one garment.
because
Yeah.
exactly, I'm not asking you for a Twee wardrobe. Because if every woman starts buying one garment and she's using it for a longer time, probably we are saving that many number of clothes to reach the landfills and the beaches.
Right.
So that's exactly what I'm saying, that we're just trying to break that cycle.
Hmm.
And it is taking a little while, but we are very sure. And thanks to our customers and repeat customers who give us that confidence that what we are doing is probably the right thing. Obviously, suggestions and feedbacks are all welcome, because that's how we grow, that's how we can help them better. And yeah, that's our journey, that's how we are going ahead.
You did mention feedback earlier as well when it came to sizing. Now, I'm going to tell you something about my personal experience just yesterday. It is that fresh, okay? I uh, I don't usually travel to Borivali, which is a little
Yeah.
ahead from where I am staying currently.
Mm-hmm.
But then I do know that there are good tailors and there are some good designers, and they're traditional ones. I wanted to get some sari blouses done, and whatever I had. So I had decided to pick up, and my mom is traveling. She's in fact visiting us for some time. Uh, Normally, she comes in the first week of March and stays with us for about a week or two. So mom was there. So I said, at least I'll have somebody to guide me as to what can be done, what is the pricing factor, whatever, because I am not aware of the trends. Let me tell you. So I picked up the things and I just put a few saris and a few dress materials, some beautiful fabric that I brought along with me when I came from Dubai. I am from Dubai, by the way. I was raised there. So there are
Okay.
these fabrics that have been sitting for like 13, 14 years and then nothing has been done. And over the course of period of time, that is, I have gone through separation, I've gone through divorce, and my boys, I have literally raised them. Now, when raising boys means literally being masculine to whatever you are. So there is no space of femininity left in me. The only time that I would feel feminine is when there might be a tear falling off, maybe, so or if I've seen someone wearing a nail polish, or if I've seen something is just not matching. So there's only very very few spaces or pockets of time when I felt feminine. So when I brought out these fabrics, and there was this guy who said, I had got this anarkali, the white Lucknowi anarkali, literally it's pure white altogether, and I said I want to add dash of color to this, and this guy lands up sharing everything white, more beige, and more of it. I said, don't we have the authority, we plus size people, don't we have the authority to be as colorful as personality as we really are? We do not have that indication. Now, while one of the tailors who was, I mean, I landed up going to a place where they would basically just tailor fit my garments or tailor make my garments. So this guy saying, are you planning to lose weight? I'll do the blouse accordingly. So this is the feedback that you already received, and that was a point where I thought, I should be asking you this question, and this is the right time. Tell me that resizable thing, and tell me about colors. Tell me about this plus size. If you're not going to do anything about men immediately, get into the men's section immediately. How are you working around these areas where we women like me, my size, also feel bright? We are also these vibrant people, and we do not want to be looking like shadows of pale colors at all times. It's not us. So
Not
how
fair.
how how would you yeah, it is definitely not fair. It's definitely not fair, because all we see is those kurtas are plain, or maybe there'll be one, what am I wearing right now is of course my brand color. I'm wearing this is my office craft color that I'm
Yeah.
wearing, but it's plain again. At the end of the day, there's nothing flowery or nothing geometric or nothing colorful about it. So tell me,
Correct.
how do you want to address that? I mean, we are there too.
So you will actually be surprised, and we did actually post a reel about this, that we treat plus size women as, as equally as any other size. And to start off with, we actually follow a special size chart.
Okay.
He does not believe in having a standard UK 8, 10, 12 or a US 2, 4,
Okay.
6, 8, because we really feel that those size charts are too good to be true.
Huh.
And especially for the Indian women, we always have to keep dancing around to fit into our dresses and still not be very happy about it. So what we've done is we've actually created a realistic size chart where you don't have to like stuff in your stomach and then sit straight and then be like, oh my god, I can't breathe. So we've taken care of that to start off with. And secondly, coming to the plus size, you will be surprised, but every week more than 60% of our orders are only plus sizes, be anywhere between XL to a 4XL, and we happily cater to them. Firstly, we do not charge them anything extra. It's the same price that you would see for an extra small or a small that these women would pay for their plus sizes.
Okay.
Secondly, even if someone comes back to us, and this actually happened initially, that some of them did come back to us saying, oh, you know what, I am an XYZ size, or I am probably a 2XL, and I might not be so comfortable with this particular print. Would you be okay to do something about it? And that is when we realized that there were certain little things that we could have tweaked, and we make it a point. So we always tell people, and this is the same thing that we had told in our reels, that if you're a plus size, just go on our website, see what you like, reach out to us in any form: email, WhatsApp, Instagram DM, anywhere. And our team and I personally will make sure to check a few things with you: your size, what are your comfort factors, and is there any print or color options that you would want? And we happily give them print and color options.
Lovely,
So
lovely.
we take a lot of care, because we also understand that not every plus size woman is very confident. She does get a little
Conscious about.
yeah, a little conscious about certain things around, and there are certain factors which she's not very comfortable with.
Hmm.
So we do take extra care of that, and in most of the cases we do also try to give them customizations as much as possible in terms of measurements and colors and prints. And we never tell them that, oh, you're supposed to wear only a black or only a brown or a gray. We give them as many options as we would give any other woman. So
Lovely, lovely. I'll be looking forward to picking up a few pieces for myself.
yes, we love plus size women because we love the enthusiasm they have when they want to try a Twee garment.
Anupam Mittal had mentioned this, Niti. I'm not too sure when you mentioned, yeah, it was about when you mentioned the price, and he said that this is the Italy factor. He said, "Wait, 15,000? Can you please tell me more about your family?" Now I want to get there because that question was not answered there, but I really want to know who's in your family, Niti. How supportive do you feel with your family and of course people around, because you did mention the fact that this is not the first time you felt or you have heard from even the industry experts saying that this is not the only thing to do. So
Correct.
how else, how, I mean, basically who are those people who inspire you day in day out, who support you day in day out?
So, well, to start off with, I'm a Marwari, and the Marwari clans and
That is
family.
like, ooh, over the top.
Yeah, so I am very proud that I have not just one, two, or five people around me, but probably 50 or 100 people around me who would be my backbones and my support systems, even in the
Closest knit,
middle of the
yeah,
night.
close knit community that they are.
Exactly, and that's how blessed I am. Touch wood about that. But yes, like Anupam had asked me that, "Acha, आपके पापा क्या करते हैं?" So that is something that I did answer then. That my dad is my parents. So basically, our first family, my dad is into a construction business. It's a family business. My mom is an Indian wear designer. She has her own studio back in Indore because that is where she lives. It's called Kalashkriti. And she's always been my main inspiration because, not just because she's a designer, but also because when we were young and we've seen her work for the past 25 years of her life, we always also realized that how easy it is for a woman to balance her work, her family, her kids, her husband, her responsibilities, everything. So you are not very you're not like, oh my god, I can't, if I'm working then I can't be a housewife, or if I'm at home I cannot work. She's just always, we've just seen that seamless balance between the two. So she has obviously been my biggest inspiration. And I have two lovely sisters, and both of them also have their own small businesses. One is into events, and one has a graphic design studio. So we are a house of entrepreneurs. And even my nephew, he's 11 and he is also a baker. He bakes professionally.
Wow.
So yes, we are a house of entrepreneurs, and my father's the main support system for all of us, because he's the one who keeps pushing us all ahead. He's like, yeah, come on, you can do it, why not? Yes, let's do it. You can keep going. So every time we're stuck, and we would just look at him and he'll be like, it's okay, life and business comes with risks, but you have to take them. You cannot be running away.
I so am with you on this. Tell me, Niti, when did people around you notice that you have traits of a designer, of a dress design, of a fashion design? How, when did basically they identify it, and how how starry do you feel about it? Were you able to take your aspiration immediately? uh, did you study over it? Did it strike you instantly? Because recognition, I believe, from the first family members, whoever they are around you, ये तो हमेशा अच्छा गाती है, और ये तो हमेशा, so even if it is just, even if it's a casual remark, that is something that it's founded within you. When did that
Yes.
start happening with you?
I think since I was 5, maybe, because even back then, I remember as a child also, I would always get like certain little fabrics from my mom, and I'd be like, oh, today I'm gonna make this dress for my dolls, and I'm gonna do this. So it was my weekly thing that I would just make new garments for all my Barbie dolls, and I just used to enjoy it somehow. So that is how probably it started off, and my mom could see it. She's like, oh, you're creative, you like doing things, and I was like, yeah, probably. Back then also I was too young to understand that I can be a designer, but as in how I kept growing up, and I obviously saw my mom working in fashion space, so like, oh, this could be very interesting, and yes, I have been always fond of it.
So,
So
so SNDT became very natural to you. Did it come to you very naturally as an
yes,
institution? Okay, all right,
yes.
all right.
So it just went with the flow, and in fact, the only thing is that I actually did not go to the main SNDT University in Bombay,
Mhm.
but they do have an affiliate college in Indore, and I
Okay,
decided to go there because I knew that my mom had her studio, and she has her in-house setup, like her in-house production team.
mhm.
So like, let's do it from here, not because probably she's gonna help, she would never help. But it's always good to learn something and come and
You are in the
physically.
environment, yeah. Well, you're in the environment. Yes, I get that.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So I was
Did she
like,
take you as an intern at any point in time?
yes, yes.
Okay,
So in my college days also, I did try my hands on a few things here and there, and after that, of course, I did go out and intern with a few other companies, but I have actually worked with her for 6 long years.
lovely, lovely.
And the
So,
one main thing
hmm,
that I got to learn from her was that no matter how irritable you are, no matter how annoying the customer is, you can never show them that you are unhappy or not liking something. You have to respect them no matter what. Even if they discourage you, demotivate you, downgrade you, you are still supposed to be standing there smiling and just, like respecting them with all your heart.
I get that.
So I think that's the biggest take that I've taken from
That's
like from
beautiful. That's
working with
beautiful.
my
Maybe
mom.
one of that's one of the core lessons that stayed with you even when you were at Shark Tank.
Yes, absolutely.
So again, from SNDT straight away to Milan. How was that experience? I mean, okay, SNDT ho gaya. You already have a workspace. You have something to prove around. You have a lot to experiment. Everything is there. Then what made you drive all the way to Milan? What is it that made you feel that okay, India is not the right spot for me at this point in time?
Oh, so actually Milan happened to me 7 years after I finished my graduation.
Okay.
So in those few years I was working with my mom,
Mhm.
because I just didn't want to be like, oh, I have a master's degree.
Right.
I wanted to understand that what is it that I know, how can I use it in, while I'm working, and then what is it that I don't know and I want to learn next.
Mhm.
And because SNDT has such a strong curriculum when it comes to Indian embroideries, Indian textiles, of how does Indian industry work. So the kind of experience that you get with that, I don't think any other country would be able to do that, globally, because India is very, very strong with all of these.
Right.
So I was very happy that SNDT was the most amazing decision I could have made. And then working with my mom in Indian wear space, again, just helped me with all of my learnings at my college. And then at one point of time, I was like, okay, you know what? I know everything about Indian wear. I know about how the Indian industry works. But let's take the next step and see how does the global market and global fashion industry work. And by
Carry on
then I also
perfectly.
had certain do's and don'ts, that this is what I want to learn next, because probably I'm lacking there.
Mhm.
So that is why I happened to go to Milan. And obviously Milan, because I was obviously, I had certain dreams, I had certain goals, and being in the fashion capital is the best thing to do.
Absolutely, I agree with you. So, okay, now there was this another question that was posed in front in Shark Tank, and I keep referring to it because that was my first, base there. Uh, when you have already been in the Makkah of fashion, what made you come down to India? So, of course, there was a certain amount of learning that took you there, but what catapulted over here? What brought you back to India? How was that sense? Why did you want to just revelation there? And again, there is another point that I would also want to refer to after you finish with your experience.
I mean, what I said on Shark Tank was actually my main reason that, Twee, the idea of Twee has already started building up in my head when I was working in Italy.
Okay.
So I was actually working there as an embroidery designer,
Uh-huh.
and this had already started growing on me that, like I was facing these problems all the time. I was understanding of how, fashion was not like the safest or the nicest thing for the planet. So it was growing on me, and I was like, you know what, this is going to be something that it does not exist in the market. It is revolutionary, but then why sit in a foreign land and just make that name? Although it would have been easier, I agree with you, but I would love to come back to India. Why not make it a made in India product? And I am proud to be an Indian, so why not start it from your own country? So that was definitely my first thought. And second thought again comes like, even when I was working in Italy, everything that we were producing for our clients at that company was being manufactured in India.
Okay.
So like eventually everything is made in India. They're just not tagged for made in India.
Mhm.
So why not? When you know that you have the right resources in your
Yeah.
own country,
Yeah.
you'd rather be
And
here.
in fact, there are surplus of resources out here. India is one of the most resourceful spot or place.
Yes,
Rather, it's a place where it cultivates resourcefulness. So
yes,
I'm glad you took that point. I'm just going to do a little contradiction to what my experience has been when I came down to India. I told you already during
yes.
this, yeah. So I was raised in Dubai. Mall of the Emirates is a part of my resume. The Burj
Mhm.
Khalifa is a part of my resume. I was also working with the National News Agency, Mr. Abdul Hamid Ahmed, who was a chief editor at Gulf News. The point is that despite of having these world landmarks, when it was time for me to pack from Dubai and come down to India, the first thing that is, of course, again coming back to being resourceful, the first thing anybody wants to do is an account of what is the best practices or what are the best things that they know about themselves. So when I took that into account and I did a good amount of research, and then I realized that the only spot that I feel I would grow and without much of constraint, because of course there is this 20-25 years of odd experience with me, but then
Yeah.
there are these little kids who I have to help grow as well, nurture them grow as well. So if I was to do a business of the same services that I'm offering, virtual assistants came to me immediately and I did a good amount of it. मतलब समझो कि around एक डेढ़ साल it was just about drawing and chartering the plans of how I can convert my services into business instead of coming down to India straight away. But
Right.
then there was this call within me. There was this you have had, I'm sure every daughter has had an experience about having a small little tidbit debate, with their fathers. So I'm if you want to reminisce that, it's a great thing to do. So me sitting in my teens and I'm like always asking my father, when are we going back to India? My papa says we have been here third generation now. If you count my children, it's the fourth generation in the Gulf, Bahrain, Dubai, and all of that.
Yeah.
So 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 the thing is, at that point in time, Papa always said to me that, we do not have anyone back in India.
Right.
Everyone is right here. Your kakas are here, your mamas are here, your nana, nani, everybody's right here. So there is no way that, you can find me support there at any point. And it was always a casual debate. But then
Right.
there was one point in time, I think just before he passed away, there was one scenario when I said, this wouldn't have happened if you were in India. And Papa says, okay, if you're so eager to go, you go, I'll follow you. And Papa passed away thereafter. So this is that scene, this is that call when my entire business plan is ready. The next morning, I'm about to sign up a plan at one of the free zones to, book my virtual assistant as a practice. The logo
Right.
has been created, the names has been done, everything has been done in my mind, and it's like almost like in the process of everything. I just have to go next morning. I didn't go to the free zone to sign up. I said, this is my call. If I have to take this, I might as well take it to India.
Yeah.
Now, this is somewhere where I struggle, Niti. Place like India, who had not heard of a secretary working from home,
Yeah.
a virtual assistant, as in, I literally, today I claim it with pride. I'm India's first virtual assistant. I brought the concept way back in 2009. But to
Correct.
even speak to people and explain people that a secretary can work from home, It took a pandemic. It took about 10 years for people to realize that this is a possibility of working from home.
Yeah.
My earlier on, when I used to go about explaining, the USP is as simple as, okay, no overhead cost, no
Correct.
provident fund. I will not be charging you coffee, and I'm not even bother getting pregnant. So do not worry. So I had to literally explain those USPs to them. But okay, so when I tell you this, it took me 10 years to establish myself. The only time when something hit, this was before pandemic, the only time that something hit was when I started having my international clients. So when I say international, because now when I'm local,
Yeah.
the first client comes from UAE, where again I was already known for whatever services I was, the business plans. Then the
Correct.
second, then this person who was sitting in the leadership role had to move to Singapore. They wanted to do resumes and stuff like that. So person branding comes into place. So
Yeah.
so Singapore became the next clientele. Then came, of course, the closest was again after Singapore was Bangkok, and things started going there. Only then did people realize that, oh, this is something that is already happening. Now this is despite of the fact that UK and US were already doing something called telecommuting.
Right.
I had to tell you this long story to tell you that the only time when there was this pull, when something was known, when I started mentioning that I have clients in Dubai, I have clients in UK, I've got clients,
Correct.
and today, by God's grace, touchwood, really, all these clients are not just all over the place, but I am working on a Australia zone, I'm working on a Singapore zone, I'm working on a UK time zone. I literally wake up in New Zealand.
Right. Right.
That way.
But that's also very exciting, I
Yes, it
mean,
is. It is. It is. And
yeah.
of course, and it gives me an ample of space, not only to be creative, not only to be solving problems
Yeah.
across the world, but also I'm getting to now have the credibility that I was seeking all this time in India.
Exactly.
So
And I
how?
think I think it's also very exciting because you work with different cultures, different people, different thought processes,
The
different
working
principles.
was already there in when you're in Dubai. You are in a potpourri of all experiences as it is. You have a
Yeah.
Moroccan boss, you have an Egyptian boss, you have a Scottish boss.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
I have
true.
had UAE nationals. I've had all these kind of bosses. So
Correct.
it was never one place. I had an Iraqi boss once. So so I have bosses from all over the place. As it is, there was never a cultural problem. The
Correct.
problem was only when the credibility comes when you start naming yourself as an international brand.
Yeah.
Today, however, you are in the right place, Niti, because India is becoming that place where the hub where you are. For others, it is India. I'm trading with India.
Yeah.
India is a business place. India is people where people are taking startups into consideration. You are
Yes.
at the right place, Niti. So at this point in time, how do you aspire to take yourself further? What do you want to do with Tween One, knowing for a fact or acknowledging for a fact that you are at this is your time. Apna time aega time. So this is your time. What do you want to do next?
Oh, there are a lot of plans, and we also wish to go offline with it
Uh-huh.
because that was our plan back in 2019. But then COVID hit, and then obviously everything, went for a toss. But we do wish to do that because we do understand that there are still a lot of people who want to experience our garments, who want to touch, feel, see it for real, and then buy it. I was just in Chennai yesterday with my collections, and there were so many people who saw us on our stories, and they knew we were there, and they were just walking and were like, you know what? We have just come to see here how your dress really transforms. Can you just do that again? We've seen it on Shark Tank, but we want to see it for real. And they were still so awestruck. They had their jaws dropping down. And, as a designer, you feel really proud and happy that they've seen you on TV. They have the option of going back on Instagram and seeing you probably another 100 times. But they still want to stand in front of you to believe it that yes, this is for real. So then they would be like,
It was
okay,
only a few seconds. It was just a few seconds on Shark Tank, and of course, Instagram, like you said, a few
yeah,
hundred times. So, this look and feel, how are you going to create this tangible experience, and how soon are you likely to do that? Besides that, one important point, are you going to start with Indore, or are you going to come straight away to Mumbai?
So our office is based out of Bombay now. We did move to we did move our design base to Bombay about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Our production base is still based out of Indore because my basic team obviously started off from there 5 years ago, and I am a small business, and starting from a smaller city just becomes a little easier on the
I
pockets.
agree.
So, keeping that in mind, we are still juggling between the thought of moving our production base. But yeah, we are based out of both the cities, and we have never really faced a problem with any of that. But coming to the tangible, let's see. I mean, we are crossing our fingers to bounce back a little sooner so we can just get that happening and get going. Because, like I said, COVID was a very, very, very big hit for us. And, suddenly people were sitting home, they did not need Twee clothes. And that's also another reason why we started off with Twee kids.
Yeah, so I get that. Construction, one of the important family businesses. Events, one of the important family businesses. Graphic design, of course, that is the only thing possibly would have flourished. Dresses was another thing. So
Yeah.
my next question is again coming to this area. Now people work from home. What kind of fashion are you allowing them to experience? What is it that you want to do? Are you going to create a section around that too?
Yes, we are working on that for people who are more used to sitting at home working, or their comfort wear is what I would, say. Comfort yet very chic, so that they don't feel like, oh, it's just lazy and I'm like sitting home in my pajamas. We don't want to give them that feel at all. And but that's not it. I mean, people are bored of sitting at home. They are all stepping out. They're all out there. You would also hear a lot of people think COVID gaya. So I think and women just want to go and shop because they're like, listen, we haven't shopped for the longest time. They are craving to get ready, they're craving to get dressed beautifully. So yeah, I mean, it's not that the world will stop, it's not that people are going to sit home. I mean, apart from Zomato and Swiggy, even restaurants would make money. They would
Yes,
have people again.
yes, businesses can't sit there. So it's a resistance is one thing, and
Yeah,
scaling up, flourishing is another. Thriving is
yes,
another. So
yes.
of course, I'm hoping that you thrive really neatly. Is Are there any words that of inspiration that you would like to share with the young girls who are right there, today and looking up at you? What is it that you they should expect from their own journeys? What is it that they can draw for as an inspiration from you?
One thing that I've always said and I would want to tell again is never, never, never stop believing in yourself. If your gut feeling is telling you that you are doing the right thing, don't hear. There will be a million people around you who would want to give you advices. It is up to you of what to take and what to ignore. But don't take everything to your heart, because I mean, not everyone is going to appreciate you. There would be a lot of people who would also want to pull you down. So it's okay, just leave them, just filter it out, but don't stop believing in yourself.
I saw that in the tweet as well. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm going to be right. I'm hoping that I'm going to be editing that part of it and bringing that tweet along. But then, thank you so much, Aditi. I'm sorry, Niti. You have given me so much of space, and this space is not reversible. Of course, it is convertible, but this is not reversible. I am
Oh,
so
thank
glad that
you.
I've gotten in touch with somebody so vibrant, so positive, so very well integrated, and of course, creative at heart and creative in mind too. I'm sure you'll be creating lots of opportunities for yourself to grow, to scale up, and of course, like we mentioned, just thrive. I'm really, really happy for the time that you've given with it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. And yes, I hope that your viewers enjoy it. And, you know, we will talk again soon.
Sure, sure, Niti, sure.